Green Lanterns issue 51. That's Dan Jurgens writing, Mike Perkins on the art. So we ended last issue with a Guardian being killed and Jesse's ring saying, "Hey, don't trust anyone. They all might be, up to something." Um,
Mm-hmm.
so that's kind of we deal with the fallout of that, and they get the Guardian and back to the I can't remember the Lantern's name, the medic one, the one who can heal them,
Yeah.
or at least try to.
He or she is not a lantern though. She's just the doctor. She's from Salak's planet.
Oh, is it not a Lantern?
Remember
I
they
didn't
brought
even,
her.
I didn't even notice.
Yeah, she's not a lantern.
No,
Oh,
there was a
cool.
whole thing with it. They
Yeah.
brought along when I think it was with the Orions.
Orion.
Yeah.
To piece back the heart.
Was that in
Yeah.
Was that in Hallam
was
Pals?
That was in.
It was in Hallam Pals.
Hallam Pals.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well, that's why
it was when Kyle was keeping him alive,
Yep.
right?
Well, that'll be why I don't know who the character is then.
Yes.
So they bring him in, and again, Jess's ring is kind of telling her stuff. Don't trust anyone. And the other characters are like, "Oh wait, this seems weird. The injuries indicate that this was murder." Because there's a big point here where Kyle just say it, murder, and everyone's kind of reacting to it. And then of course Guy and Kilowog show up with John half dead, but we can still maybe save him. And then they're like, wait, what happened here? But of course, throughout all this, they end up getting the call to a plan, because we started the book with the villain who we met last week, or last issue, attacking this planet. Let me just what was the name of the planet again? Just remind me.
Oh man, it's an ocean
Penelo?
planet.
Penelo, there you go. But it's an aquatic planet. So we have this aquatic lantern who we see at the start of the issue, but when the team all show up at the end, what was it, like something like 90% of the population or something like that ridiculous had been killed.
Can we talk about how the design of this thing is just a giant eyeball with squid tentacles?
It's very much. It looks like a micro, like something you'd see like plankton or whatever in a microscope.
Yes, it's
super cool.
It's almost like a very likable Starro, like not with the bad. I mean, I like Starro, but like not with the bad attitude. It's like a normal person version of Starro.
It's an eyeball squid, like Connor said.
Yeah.
And that one's name is Penelops.
Yeah, Penelops. That was it. So
Penelops of Penelo.
Yeah. I knew they had similar words. That's why I was trying to remember what they were. So they go and like Jess tries to help, and they find find him and he's dead, and like all the squid, like the tentacles are all like ripped off, and it's really sad. And do you know what I love about this? I love that Jess, when she sees this, instead of getting scared like she has in the past, she gets angry because someone did this, and she wants to fight. And I like that progression for Jess. I think that's really cool. Because I'm liking it, even though this book seems to be, becoming the core book with like all the characters. I like that Jess still kind of feels like the one in the middle. She still kind of feels like the one that we're getting the most narration, at least for this arc. Maybe that'll change arc to arc.
It does at the minute where we're getting her ring, especially.
Yeah.
I feel like it might change each arc. We get a different one.
Yeah. But so obviously the other thing as well is that the storms are getting worse in Mogo, and all the lanterns actually make a dome. They all combine.
Yeah, which they say this doesn't. They never thought about this because Mogo's always kept the weather. So what has happened to Mogo that has let him slip? So we'll see, because they're hinting that maybe it's the power battery. Something's up with that.
Yeah, well, that makes sense given that the rings are being corrupted and giving them false information. So it makes some sense. So we actually end with like Mogo actually just can't. The dome, the lanterns who are left behind to maintain the dome just can't do it. And we see that the storm just starts to destroy buildings at the end. Also the Guardians say, like, one of them thinks they can hear a whisper. Like, did you hear that?
Yep.
Someone just said you're beaten. Yeah. So someone's coming out. So that's villains coming after them, and they have a lot of power. They're controlling the rings and the battery. So I mean, we'll see where this goes. I mean, I really like the last issue of this. I think this pretty much maintained the quality for me. If anything, I think the art's more consistent than it was last time.
Yeah, it has some really nice smaller moments. I really liked when Jess has been nervous because the ring's telling her don't trust anyone, and she's trying to bite her nails, but obviously she's got like the gloves on.
Right.
Yeah, I like that page a lot actually. I think I like the shadow work especially on those early pages.
Yeah, there's still I still feel like there's a few panels where it just doesn't quite feel right.
Yeah,
it's getting better as it goes on.
I agree.
No, I like the art in this one much better than the last one, especially the aquatic stuff. So it felt like it had a flow to it.
It looked
different.
It looked different as well, which I thought was nice from the rest of the stuff.
Yeah, I think it's worth. And obviously, we mentioned last time how all like the ships and vehicles and the architecture felt really good. I think it was interesting to see how I think it's the colors that really brought out the aquatic world so much.
Yeah.
But it was nice to see something organic feel as natural as the other stuff.
Which is nice. It's nice that the mechanical stuff and the organic stuff does feel so different. It gives it a nice contrast, like just sort of naturally in the book. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah. I do want to give a big shout out to the colors, like especially when they're going underwater. You got the orange mining beams and that glow coming off it as under the water. It just looked fantastic.
Yeah, because Jess and Simon try to find where this beam is going. Yeah. And she's like, oh, well, this can't be connected to the Mogul stuff. And the Ring's like, nah, don't be so sure, Jessica. Like, nah, this might be connected. And we're pretty sure it is, because we know that the same villains who are doing this are the ones who are controlling the Rings. So, nah. And I thought it was a solid follow-up issue. So far, I'm digging Jurgen's take on this. I'm liking the plot. I'm liking the natural disaster kind of stuff on Mogul. It's something different just to see all this destruction in this context.
Well, yeah, because we're used to seeing them deal with, like, invasions and whatnot, but not natural disasters. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I like that. So we're building up these villains. We got good art, and we're building up this Ring mystery stuff, which I'm enjoying quite a bit. So yeah, no, I dig it. So let's rate it. Connor, what'd you give Green Lanterns 51?
Straight 8.
That's cool, Matt.
Yeah, so I liked it a little bit less than Connor did. I gave it 7.5.
No. I'm going to agree with Connor. I'm going to go straight 8 as well. I think this has been really solid so far. I mean, it's only been 2 issues. We'll see how it goes, but
it's a good start.
Yeah, I'm digging the character work with Jess. I'm digging the Ring stuff. I'm digging the art. So I don't have a lot of complaints. I think it's really solid.